Question 44. Determine the exact value of 4 cosine of 11 pi over 12. This is a 3-mark question, and it's a pretty straightforward question. The only thing that's a little different from past exams is they have a 4 in front that they want you to multiply by in the end, but I'm going to save that, and I'm actually just going to answer cosine of 11 pi over 12. And what makes this question special is 11 pi over 12 is an angle that is not a special angle. So it's not a multiple of 30 degrees or a multiple of 45 degrees. So we cannot use our special triangles or our unit circle to figure out this value. But we can use our formula sheet. And what we want to do is we want to think of two angles that are going to add together to give us 11 pi over 12. So my first try, I'll try this. So how can I write 11 pi over 12? Well, I could write it like this. I could write it as 1 pi over 12 plus 10 pi over 12. Now that'll give me 11 pi over 12, but pi over 12 is not a nice angle. It's not a special angle. So moving forward, another angle that we could try, or another combination I could say we could try, is just do the next one. So we will try 2 pi over 12 plus 9 pi over 12. And that's some numbers that can simplify here. So we're going to simplify this combination. That reduces to pi over 6, which is a wonderful angle because it's in our special triangle. And this, it's divisible by 3, so that's 3 pi over 4. And that's a reference angle of pi over 4, so that's another great combination. So when I am going to find cosine of 11 pi over 12, I am going to go cosine. Instead of using 11 pi over 12, I'm going to go with pi over 6 plus 3 pi over 4. And we want to use our formula sheet for this, our cosine of alpha plus beta formula. I'm sure, as you know, if we look at our formula sheet, so I'll just write out this formula on the side here. Cosine of alpha plus beta, right, can be written as cos alpha cos beta minus sine alpha sine beta. Now, don't use alpha and beta when we actually solve this problem. Show the substitution of the angles. So it's going to be cosine of pi over 6, which is my first angle, times cosine of 3 pi over 4, which is beta, my second angle. And then it's going to be minus sine of pi over 6 times sine of 3 pi over 4. So don't get sloppy and not write out this substitution step. I think it's important to show that before we get into the ratios. So now we're going to continue on, and pi over 6 is, sorry about that, pi over 6 is relatively easy. The reason it is relatively easy is because it's in the first quadrant, so everything's going to be positive. But I'm just writing out my special angle. So opposite pi over 3 is root 3, 2 is your hypotenuse, and 1 is my other side here. So if I look at cosine of pi over 6, cosine of pi over 6 is adjacent over hypotenuse. So of course that is going to be root 3 over 2. And this is multiplication. So 3 pi over 4. I got to be a little bit tricky about 3 pi over 4. Obviously, I will be using my pi over 4 triangle, which is a 1, 1, root 2. But what I want to remember is what quadrant is this in? And of course, 3 pi over 4 is in quadrant 2, right? So in quadrant 2, all students, cos is negative. Right, so we just want to make note we're using all students take calculus. So in quadrant 2, it's going to be a negative 1 over root 2. I move on. The subtraction is there just because it was in the line previous. Sine of pi over 6. Pi over 6 is in quadrant 1. Sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. And sine of 3 pi over 4. That's quadrant 2. But remember, sine is positive in quadrant 2. So I'm still going to just do sine of pi over 4. It would be equal to the same thing. It's a positive 1 over root 2. So how do you multiply fractions? Top times top, bottom times bottom. So this is minus root 3 over 2 root 2. Subtract 1 times 1 is 1 over 2 root 2. And we can write this as minus root 3 subtract 1 over 2 root 2. Now, we could leave our answer like that, but most people, most mathematicians don't like to have radicals on the bottom. So I am going to get rid of that radical on the bottom. Of course, our magic number to get rid of a root 2 is to multiply by root 2. If I multiply the bottom by root 2, I multiply the top by root 2. Remembering we want to distribute root 2. So this, when we distribute the top, top times top, becomes minus root 6. Root 3 times root 2 is root 6. Minus root 2. And then on the bottom, root 2 times root 2 is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. So I guess that's not entirely our answer. I think I know why they put the 4 on the outside now. So to answer the question, I would just do a therefore. Therefore, 4 times cosine, and I forget what it is, 11 pi over 12. So 4 times cosine of 11 pi over 12 would equal 4 times this business right here, the answer I just had. And of course, don't distribute the 4, just cancel the 4. Okay, so the 4 divided by 4 is 1. And we get the wonderful answer of minus root 6 subtract root 2. All right, so that does it.